In today's video, we're going to learn a little bit of math. Wait a minute, did I say a little bit of math? Here's a lot of math worth knowing. Okay, the first one is called addition. 2 plus 2 equals, and we need to know. Draw 2 dots and then 2 more dots. And it equals, and there's 4 dots total, so 2 plus 2 equals 4. Now, subtraction. 4 minus 2 equals, so first draw 4 dots. Then cross out 2 of them. And then 2 dots are left. So that's subtraction. Multiplication. So multiplication is like repeated addition. This number here shows how many times you add. 2 plus 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, and 4 plus 2 is 6. So that's multiplication. Division. Division is like repeated subtraction. So let's just draw some dots. So draw 3 groups as in 3 circles. Then do 1 dot, 1 dot, 1 dot, 1 dot, 1 dot, 1 dot, and we just gave over 6 dots. And now we check how many dots are in each group. 1, 2 dots, 1, 2, 1, 2. There's 2 dots in each group, so 6 divided by 3 is 2. Now, I sure hope that not knowing a part of the problem doesn't lead to a whole new branch of math. Of course it does. Algebra time. So, algebra. The first type of algebra is addition algebra. So, for addition algebra, so x is an unknown. Any letter can be an unknown, but usually x is used for an unknown. So let's just do 2 plus x equals 4. We need to know this. We do not know what x is equal to, so we must undo the problem. In addition algebra, if x is the second thing you're using, then just do this, swap the positions, and now we have x plus 2 equals 4. Now, once we do that, time to do it. We can undo. Plus is the opposite of minus, right? So what we can do is x plus 2 minus 2 equals 4. But what we do on one side, we must do to the other. So we subtract 2. We know that is x. This leaves x all on the left-hand side of the equal sign. So x equals 4 minus 2. So x equals 2. You just solved your first problem of algebra. Now time for the second type of algebra. Now for subtraction algebra. Say we had x minus 2 equals 2. And we must know what x equals. Of course, plus is the opposite of minus. So we can just do, and since this is not second, we can just leave it like that. So we do x minus 2 plus 2 equals 2. But what we do to one side, we must do to the other. So we add 2. So that these 2 cancel out, giving us the x alone on the left-hand side of the equal sign. X is equal to 2 plus 2, so x equals 4. Now, here's where things get tricky. Now we're doing multiplication algebra. So, just so you know, if we have 2x, it equals 2 times x. And by the way, multiplying this multiplying symbol right here. But you must be like, hey, isn't this x similar to this x? Well, here's how you can tell them apart. In algebra, for times, we just put, if we ever use the time symbol, we just put a dot. So the 2x is equal to 2 dot x. So now that we know that, let's try 2x equals 4, and our goal is to find x. Let's start, as we know, division is the opposite of multiplication. So we can do 2x equal 4. Let's divide. So 2x divided by 2 equals 4. But wait a minute. What we do to one side, we must do to the other. So let's divide 4 by 2. The 2 and 2 cancels out, leaving x all by itself. So it equals 4 divided by 2. And yes, fraction bars are used to represent division in algebra. Okay. In the next part of this, we will learn what fraction bars are. What fractions are. So, what we have after that is and we know that x equals 2 because 4 divided by 2 equals 2. Now, let's talk about fractions. So, basically, fractions are basically numbers lower than 1 and greater than 0. Like, okay, so say we had 1/2. We can represent this with a model. Draw a rectangle. Then split it in half with a line. Then shade in one part. The part you shaded in is 1/2 of the rectangle. So now that we know fractions, let's move on. So now let's talk about algebra 4. So let's say this is going to be tricky. Let's say we have 4 divided by, let's say we have x divided by 4. And it equals 4. What we would do to solve it is we would multiply by 4 to cancel out the division. So let's do that. X over 4 times 4. These two cancel it out, leaving x by itself. And next, we have, and now we got to do the same to the other. 4 times 4. So we have x equals 4 times 4. And since we know what 4 times 4 is, we know, just pause here to work out 4 times 4. So we know what it is now. So x equals 16. Don't be sad if you didn't get it right. This video is just to teach beginners. Now that we're done with all the algebra, let's talk about another form of fractions. Let's talk about numbers. Another form of numbers that are less than 1 but greater than 0. Now we're going to talk about decimals. So like 1/2 is equal to 0.5. So, and 0.5 is the same thing as, once again, our rectangle. Do exactly what you did with the rectangle before. So 1/2 equals 0.5, which is half a rectangle. It can also be done with other shapes, like circles, triangles, etc. Now, let's now talk about exponents. Exponents are like repeated multiplication. So we show it. So here's another way to show this. So we'll say a to the power b. You say it as like a to the power b. So exponents like the. So let's talk about the parts of it. The a is the base here. B is, you guessed it, the exponent.